On August 5, 2010, at 2 p.m., 700,000 tons of rock exploded downward through the San Jose copper mine in Chile. The mountain itself seemed to swallow the earth. In seconds, a granite wall thicker than a city block sealed 33 men in a chamber 2,300 feet underground. The collapse was so violent it registered on seismographs 50 miles away. For 17 days, the world assumed they were dead. The mine had become their tomb, a space no bigger than a studio apartment, trapped beneath rock harder than concrete, in heat that reached 95 degrees with 95% humidity. Every rescue drill bent, broke, or wandered off course in the impossibly hard stone. But on day 17, when drill bit number 8 finally broke through, a note emerged that shocked the world. "We are well in the shelter, the 33. They were alive." Now someone had to figure out how to reach them. What followed was the most audacious drilling operation ever attempted. And at its heart was a machine that wasn't supposed to exist. A drilling rig so powerful it could bore through granite like a hot knife through steel, yet so precise it could hit a target the size of a dinner plate from half a mile away. This is the story of the Schramm T130XD, the drilling rig that did the impossible. The San Jose mine had been claiming men's lives for years. Since 1998, 8 miners had died in its tunnels. The owners ignored safety warnings, bypassed regulations, and kept sending men down into a mountain that was literally falling apart. The miners knew the danger. They called it the mine of death, but they needed the work. They were mining for copper and gold, 2 of Chile's most valuable exports, in one of the most geologically unstable regions on Earth. The collapse wasn't sudden, it was inevitable. The mountain had been groaning for weeks, spitting out rock bursts that sounded like cannon fire. On August 5th, it finally gave way. A single massive block of diorite, harder than granite, sheared off and fell, sealing the main ramp. When rescue teams tried to enter through ventilation shafts 2 days later, a second collapse nearly killed them too. The 33 miners were trapped in a refuge chamber originally designed for 10 men. Their emergency supplies, meant to last 48 hours, had to stretch for weeks. Above them sat 2,300 feet of the hardest rock formation in the Western Hemisphere. Any rescue shaft would have to approach at an angle, threading between faults and fractures, avoiding the collapse zone, while somehow hitting a target area smaller than a parking space. The Chilean government understood the magnitude of the crisis. President Sebastián Piñera personally took charge, declaring, "We will do everything humanly and technically possible." They launched not 1, but 3 separate drilling operations simultaneously, because when 33 lives hang in the balance, redundancy isn't wasteful, it's essential. Plan A deployed the Strata 950 raise borer, a massive mining rig that would drill straight down from the mountaintop. This Australian-built giant could theoretically bore a 66-centimetre shaft, but it required absolutely stable ground. Every geologist who examined the mountain shook their head. The rock above the miners was shattered, like a cracked windshield waiting to explode. Plan C brought in the RIG-421, an oil drilling platform normally used for deep petroleum extraction. This 40-metre-tall monster could drill to incredible depths, but oil drilling and rescue drilling are different beasts. Oil doesn't care if your drill wanders off course by a few meters. Trapped miners do. Plan B was different. Plan B was radical. Plan B would use a water well drill, a machine designed for boring straight, clean holes through solid rock to reach underground aquifers. The machine selected for this seemingly insane task was the Schramm T130XD, and the man chosen to run it was an American driller named Jeff Hart, who was literally pulled from a job in Afghanistan to save these Chilean miners. But the T130XD wasn't just any drill. This Pennsylvania-built machine was a mechanical marvel that would need to perform beyond its design limits, beyond what physics suggested was possible, to save 33 lives. The Schramm T130XD didn't look like a hero when it arrived at Camp Hope, the makeshift city that had sprung up around the mine entrance where families waited and prayed. This wasn't some towering oil derrick or massive mining platform. It was a truck-mounted drill rig, painted industrial red, that looked almost modest next to its Plan A and Plan C competitors. But beneath that unassuming exterior beat the heart of a mechanical warrior. The T130XD carried a 760 horsepower Detroit diesel engine, more powerful than a locomotive. Its hydraulic system could generate 130,000 pounds of pullback force, enough to literally rip drill strings from the Earth's grip. 4. Bosch. Rexroth. Variable displacement pumps pushed hydraulic fluid at 5,800 psi through its steel veins. Pressure so intense it could cut through metal. But raw power meant nothing without precision. The T130XD's secret weapon was its telemast design, a 45-degree sliding angle mast that could position a drill with surgical accuracy. While the other rescue rigs would drill straight down through unstable rock, the T130XD would attempt something unprecedented. Boring at an 82-degree angle through 2,040 feet of solid granite to thread between the collapse zones. Most revolutionary was its drilling method. Instead of a single cutting bit, the T130XD would deploy multiple pneumatic hammers simultaneously, essentially creating a 28-inch wide jackhammer that could pulverize granite at depths where conventional drills would shatter. The rig's air compressor, delivering 1,350 cubic feet per minute at 350 psi, would turn these hammers into rock-destroying weapons. Standing beside his machine, Jeff Hart knew what he was asking it to do. "It's like asking a sniper to hit a dime from a mile away," he said. "Except the dime is buried under a mountain, and 33 lives depend on not missing." On September 19, 2010, the Schramm T130XD roared to life. Its diesel engine's growl echoed across the Atacama Desert as Jeff Hart gripped the controls. The drill bit began its descent, spinning at 100 RPM, each rotation taking it deeper into the earth. The mountain fought back immediately. The granite here wasn't just hard, it was 20% harder than typical North American granite. The quartzite veins running through it contained crystallized silica that could destroy a drill bit in hours. Normal drilling in this material might progress 30 meters a day. The T130XD needed to average 4 times that speed to beat the other plans and save the miners before their food ran out. The rig's hydraulic pumps screamed as they fought to maintain pressure. The steel drill pipes, each weighing hundreds of pounds, had to be perfectly aligned as they descended into the earth. 1 degree off trajectory at the surface meant missing the target by 50 feet at depth. Hart could feel every vibration through the controls, reading the mountain's resistance like braille through steel. Hour after hour, day after day, the T130XD hammered at the stone. Its pneumatic hammers, designed by Center Rock Inc. specifically for this rescue, pounded the granite 2,000 times per minute. The sound was deafening, a mechanical heartbeat that never stopped. The drill pipes grew so hot from friction they glowed cherry red when extracted. The hydraulic fluid temperature climbed toward critical levels, but the machine refused to quit. Day 8 brought the first major setback. As the drill cut deeper into the collapsed mine, it struck a buried steel roof bolt, one of the long rods miners install to pin unstable rock and prevent cave-ins. Dozens had been left hidden in the debris after the collapse, and the rescuers had no map showing where they lay. When the drill bit slammed into one, the hammers shattered instantly, scattering metal shards and bringing progress to a standstill. For a moment, the entire rescue seemed in jeopardy. But within 24 hours, replacement hammers were flown in from Pennsylvania. All night, the crew wrestled the broken equipment from the shaft, using magnets to fish out fragments of steel. By dawn, the T130XD roared back to life, clawing its way downward once more. Hart never left the controls for more than a few hours. He ate beside the rig, slept in its shadow, lived with the constant vibration traveling up through his bones. "You become part of the machine," he explained. "You feel what it feels. When it struggles, you struggle. When it breaks through, you break through." By day 15, the competition between the 3 plans had become a desperate race. Plan A's raise borer had hit unstable ground at 268 meters and was falling behind. Plan C's oil rig was making good progress, but had begun to drift off course, its drill bit wandering in the fractured rock. The T-130XD pressed on, its depth counter spinning past 400 meters, then 500. But the deeper it went, the more violent the mountain's resistance became. The granite down here had been compressed for millions of years into a density approaching that of industrial diamond. The drill bits, each costing thousands of dollars, were lasting mere hours before their tungsten carbide teeth were ground to nothing. The machine was literally destroying itself to save the miners. Its bearings, rated for 5,000 hours of operation, were approaching failure after just 500 hours of this punishment. The turntable that allowed the drill head to rotate was making sounds Hart had never heard before. Metal crying out against forces it was never designed to endure. But the T-130XD had one advantage the other rigs lacked: the ability to feel its way through the earth. Hart could sense changes in rock density through micro-vibrations in the controls. When the drill encountered a void or softer material, he could adjust the hammering force instantly. When it hit particularly hard quartzite, he could increase air pressure to the hammers, trading equipment life for penetration speed. The miners themselves became part of the drilling operation. 700 meters below, they could hear the T-130XD approaching, a distant thundering that grew louder each day. They cleared debris from below, moving 8 dump trucks worth of pulverized granite that fell from the drilling above. They were literally digging toward their salvation while their salvation drilled toward them. October 9th, 2010, 8:05 a.m. Day 33 of drilling. Jeff Hart felt it before anyone saw it. A sudden change in the drill's resistance, like punching through cardboard after hammering through concrete. The T-130XD's hammers, which had been pounding at maximum force, suddenly spun free. "Did we lose the bit?" someone shouted. Hart knew better. His hands on the controls had felt that distinctive pop, the moment when Earth gives way to air. After 33 days and 2,040 feet of solid granite, the Schramm T-130XD had broken through. But this was the most dangerous moment. If the drill advanced too far, it could injure the miners below. Hart's expertise, his ability to read the machine's feedback, proved crucial. He extended the drill exactly 65 centimeters past the breakthrough point, just enough to ensure a clean hole without endangering the men below. The proof came moments later, a spray of compressed air from below, carrying the smell of humanity. 33 men who had survived 69 days in hell. The T-130XD had not just reached them, it had hit the target within inches of the planned position. The 28-inch diameter hole was perfect, wide enough for the rescue capsule, straight enough for safe extraction. Brandon Fisher, whose company had provided the specialized hammers, broke down in tears. "The most amazing feeling that anyone who was out there will feel their entire life," he said. The T-130XD had done what Plan A couldn't, maintaining stability through fractured rock. It had done what Plan C couldn't, holding a precise trajectory through 2,040 feet of geological chaos. Over the next 24 hours, the Phoenix rescue capsule would make 33 trips through the shaft the T-130XD had carved. Each journey took 15 minutes, a serene ascent through a perfectly round hole that gave no hint of the violence required to create it. Florencio Avalos emerged first at 12:11 a.m. on October 13, 2010. Then Mario Sepulveda, who burst from the capsule handing out rocks as souvenirs. One by one, all 33 miners returned to the surface, their rescue broadcast to an estimated 1.5 billion viewers worldwide. But the real hero sat silent now at the edge of Camp Hope. The Schramm T-130XD, its red paint faded and scorched, hydraulic hoses scarred from the heat, drill platform caked with tons of granite dust. The machine had operated continuously for 33 days, achieving what engineers had said would take until Christmas. It had drilled faster, straighter, and more precisely than any rescue drill in history. But perhaps the most remarkable statistic was this. The T130XD had generated enough force to move a mountain, literally grinding away 20,000 tons of solid rock, yet maintained such perfect control that it could stop within inches of its target. It was like using a sledgehammer to crack an egg without breaking the yolk. The Schramm T130XD returned to Pennsylvania after its Chilean triumph, but it had been transformed from a water well drill into something more, a symbol of human determination expressed through mechanical perfection. The drill bits it used are now in museums. The hole it carved has been sealed, but the legacy endures. Jeff Hart, the driller who had become one with his machine for 33 days, summed it up simply: "We did what we came to do." The T130XD never let us down. Not once. In the end, the rescue of Los 33 proved something profound about the relationship between humans and machines. When 33 lives hung in the balance, trapped beneath a mountain that had stood for millions of years, humanity's answer wasn't prayer or patience. It was a drilling rig from Pennsylvania, operated by a water well driller from Colorado, armed with hammers designed in a small machine shop. The Schramm T130XD had done more than drill a hole. It had carved a pathway through impossible odds, transforming horsepower into hope, then into salvation. It had taken on a mountain and won. Because when 33 men are trapped 2,300 feet underground, you don't need the biggest drill or the most expensive rig. You need the one that won't quit. And in the Atacama Desert in the autumn of 2010, the machine that moved a mountain to save 33 lives was a Schramm T130XD.